Okay, so for this week's Project Munchies, I wanted to show you something that I did purely out of curiosity for one of my projects. I just went ahead and attached the SigNoz repository to the SigNoz dashboard. And yeah, it sounds pretty interesting at first because I wanted to see how the data looks when you visualize it. That's something coming out of GitHub. And the results were actually pretty interesting, something that you can even reciprocate. Because GitHub for me has always been the portal that shows you commits, your PRs, your issues, but it never actually lets your repo that how it's actually performing. Like there's no page on GitHub where I can find the average PR merge time. There's no trend line, and something not even a non-technical person can actually look at and immediately understand. So I just piped all of the data into SigNoz, and now I have the answers to something that I was even missing. So let me just go to the metrics tab and show you everything that I mean. So after collecting everything from the GitHub API and the repository, we are here at the metrics tab. The important things that you can find from over here is simply these yellow blocks. What are they doing? They are simply denoting the kind of data points you have and the kind of metric you have calculated for them. For example, the biggest block that you are seeing is the GitHub PR merge time. And as it is going through the various pull requests that have been there on your repository and going through the multiple data points, that's why it's the biggest block. You can see the time from PR open to merge by you using this, like it's a simple unit of hours defined, and also checks which particular contributor took most of the time, which one took the minimum, right? And not only that, one thing that you might also be aware of, the commits. So around 675 commits were received on a time span of 75 total days, and the last it was 22 hours ago. And then we have the description as well defined. So we have the cumulative data, everything denoted. And for example, if you are a project manager or if you're trying to see something of as a non-tech perspective, you can see of how and where your team is actually doing good, or is there's a kind of a negative number of commits that are happening each day, if there's the things that are around a bit of a sluggish note. You can create some other metrics for use case. For example, I have GitHub PR merge time hours count. I had one thing around the GitHub commits by hour that provides the commit activity by hour of the day. So these multiple kind of commits and the kind of answers can be provided to you, something that the GitHub API won't ever. Let us go to the logs tab to also interestingly tell you of how each particular pull request can also be further dissected. So as I'm here at the logs tab, I will simply apply the warning filter. And as I have configured that the pull requests that took more than 7 days to merge to themselves add to the warning label. If I will click one of them, you can find that we had a pull request that actually took around 406 hours, well above than 7 days. And then we already know the author who actually contributed to it. We knew actually the code function it was worked upon, the repository, and we can actually find everything. If you are not a code savvy kind of guy, you can do it for multiple pull requests, and you can even go ahead and filter it out for your various type of timestamps, because that's for an average time of around 90 days, and then you can basically use it for the last 1 week and all of that. Not only that, you have your traces. One other aspect of observability, that if I will go ahead and open one of these ones, for example, if I will open the fetch commits, everything that was used around the GitHub API and fetching all of those commits, we have the data of that. For example, it is saying that we fetched over 572 commits and across 41 contributors. The time it took, if it had any kind of errors, false, and then we know the telemetry SDK version. And if you're someone who is just trying out open telemetry for yourself, you can get answers of what metrics, traces, and logs are by just attaching it to a repository by using a SigNoz ingestion key. As easy as that. And that was my simple implementation, because I wanted to play with the numbers, I wanted to play with the repository, and I wanted to see how the things are connecting on our dashboard. So we saw how the metrics are populating your dashboard around the number of commits, around the PR merge time. We also saw how you can go ahead and filter your PR merge time hours. You can even go ahead and filter for other use cases as well. For example, which contributor took the most time, which contributor actually contributed for one of the good features, and everything around that. Something that GitHub API or any kind of GitHub UI won't provide. So if you're someone who's interested, I'm attaching the link of this complete repository in the description. Take a look at it, spin it up for yourself, attach it with SigNoz ingestion key, and see how the data populates. And you will be able to understand open telemetry pretty easily. See ya.